principle through the example. Krishna is giving a principle through the example. Yada samharate chayam kurmo anganiva sarvashah. Kurma, a tortoise, kachua. Just like how kachua engages its senses when it's required. When tortoise feels, oh, it is hazardous for me, it is dangerous for me, immediately it takes the senses inside. Yada samharate chaham, just like kurmo anganiva sarvashah, just like kurma, tortoise does, controls, engages its senses when it's required, withdraws its senses when it is not required. Similarly, indriyan indriyartebhyas tasya prajna pratishtitah. Somebody who is fixed in consciousness, somebody who is fixed in Krishna consciousness, somebody who is fixed in intelligence, he will also uses his senses whenever it is required. When it is not required, he withdraws his senses. So Krishna is giving the principle to all of us with an example. How interesting, na? Krishna is very, very nice. Because we dull-minded people, we cannot understand these things practically. So when Krishna gives example, oh, aisa hai kya? So then we will understand. Devotees, I am giving two statements here very carefully. These are very, very important in practical life. Two statements. Number one, in modern world, in glamorized modern world, the impurities in the heart, they give us opportunities to sense gratification. All of us, we have impurities in the heart. This reminds us, Hare, enjoy, for sense gratification. Number two, so when these impurities, when it comes up in the heart, we should not disheartened, we should not become morose, distracted. These reminders, these impurities, when they pop up, we should understand, it is a time for subjugating them. It is a time to control them. We should not get demotivated. So on these two statements, tomorrow we will elaborately discuss. Okay. For now, Krishna is giving example to make us understand how these senses are rampant like uncontrolled horses. Yesterday we discussed. These senses are always looking for sense objects. Indriyan indriyartebhyas. But just like kurma, just like tortoise, we should learn. When it is required, we should engage the senses. When it is not required, we should withdraw the senses. You see many people. One time in the social media, one atheist, he was speaking, Ram मांस खाया, भगवान नहीं है वो, कृष्ण भी भगवान नहीं है, सब बकवास है, इतिहास सब nonsense है, इन सबको भूल जाना चाहिए, they should not be taught, etc. He was teaching. He was just spreading this virus everywhere, atheist. And some TV reporters, they invited him into their studio. See how foolishness it is. Now this atheist, this fool is getting a platform to speak. These reporters, they invited him, asked questions, inquired him, asked some questions. This fool, he says, this atheist, he says, I'm ready to debate with the Swami, that Chinnajiyar Swami in Andhra, you know, because that time this Samata Murti was getting established. Ramanujacharya's Murti was established. So he became quite popular. Narendra Modi also went there. So this atheist. He was thinking, he was saying openly in the TV, I'm ready to debate with him. And when this news went to Chinnajiyar Swami, one of the popular Sri Sampradaya Acharya, he says, he may speak many things. He is a mad person. I'm not ready to debate with him. So, the devotees, the self-realized persons, they know where to engage their senses, where not to engage their senses. When an elephant walks on the street, dog in the street barks like anything. Bow, 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 bow. Dog barks seeing an elephant. But elephant will not shout back. Elephant will not shout back. Dog will bark. So when an elephant walks, dogs will bark. But elephant will not stop walking. It as it is, with the same charisma, it just walks. Elephant. It doesn't bother about this dog. So, a realized person, one who is sense controlled person, sthita pragya, he will not get tempted by unnecessary provocations. He is fixed, is very much clear, fixed. Similarly, this tortoise, you see, whenever I have seen tortoises, we used to go for catching these tortoises actually. In my childhood, my parents, my community, they used to go for catching these tortoises. I have seen literally baby tortoises. So when we touch it, when we give some grass, very tender grass, it takes, the head comes out of the shell. The 4 legs comes out of the shell and they swim. They take this grass when they are there in the ground. As soon as it feels there is something hazardous, something, achanak se hum haath dal diya, if we keep hand to hold the neck, then immediately it takes senses, all these hands, 4 legs and the head inside the shell. It looks like it is dead. It looks like it is dead. It is a stone. It look like it's a stone. So this is a sensory perception is very, very strong to the tortoise. Sensory perception. I mean, it knows how to control the senses. Whenever it is required, when there is no one aside around, then only it takes out its head outside. So we devotees should have a control over senses. Otherwise, we will be catched. So here I am giving some list of the devotees. Just hear carefully. Just like we have 5 senses and 5 sensory perceptions. I mean, we have 5 senses, which is skin, tongue, ear, eyes, nose. All these 5 senses are running behind sense objects. So, skin is running behind touch. Skin always wants a smooth touch. Tongue is running behind taste. Always wants to taste a new flavors. Taste. Ear is running behind good music, sound, nice music. Now it sounds. Then eyes are running behind nice, chamak, jugnu, of course. These eyes are running behind nice, beautiful objects, lightning things. The nose is running behind smell. All our senses are like that. So our senses are running behind sense objects, indriya and indriyarthyabhyas. But this intelligent person, one who is conscious, one who is Krishna conscious, like a tortoise, he engages whenever it is required. Otherwise, he will not engage. It is said when there is a quarrel between wife and husband, better stay silent. Instead of shouting back, better stay silent. When the right time comes, then you can speak. Right? One time, wife is saying to husband, my husband is like honey. My husband is like honey. Up to the time he gives money. Up to the time he gives money, my husband is like a honey. My honey, my sweet honey. Then husband says to the wife, my wife is so cute. Up to the time she is mute. So when wife is mute, she looks very cute for the husband. When the husband is keep giving money, then for wife, husband is honey. So when there are quarrels, one should be muted. Better be silent. Especially when wife is shouting too much, better husband should take a very humble step. That is recommended. So, intelligent person, matured person, he knows where to use his senses. You see, I am giving example for each sense, how they get trapped. For circuses, they catch elephants. So number one, skin. Our skin is always looking for nice touch, smooth touch, sexual pleasure. Yes. See, in the circus, how they catch elephants, they catch elephants, they go to forest, they trap, they observe the elephant movements for 1 week, 2 weeks like that. And another day, on the pathway of this elephant, they dig a big ditch in the forest only. And they cover on the top of the ditch, they cover with some grass. On other side of the ditch, they keep a female elephant. This male elephant, when it's passing through its way, the male elephant sees the female elephant and feels attracted, like wants to touch, wants to have that sexual enjoyment. But on the path, when it comes on the path, it falls down in the ditch without seeing the ditch. And that's how circus people, they catch elephants. And sometimes even in the people in the forest, they break the teeth, danta of the elephants, like that. So by the skin, just like an elephant gets trapped, we also get trapped by the skin touch. So just to be frank, it's a for the skin pleasure, people are doing anything and everything. And that's how, just like elephants gets trapped and become subjugated by the circus people, loses its teeth. So we should be very, very careful how to use our skin. We should be very, very careful in our touching sensation. We should not give too much. We should be very, very careful. Observe ourselves. Where all my tendencies are there to get trapped. Number 2, okay? Because of touch, elephant gets trapped. Number 2, because of tongue. Tongue is always looking for a taste. So in the fisherman, when he goes to catch his fishes, he keeps he keeps bet on the top, on the edge of the sharpen needle. He keeps earthworm. In the water body, when the fish sees this red earthworm, it feels, yes, I have a food now. Tongue pleasure, tongue pleasure. It runs behind that earthworm and it tried to taste it, and as soon as it tastes it, the mouth of the fish gets trapped in the sharp needle. Khatam. Kahani khatam. Then fish gets trapped into it. Of course, very rarely they use this technique. Many people, they use the net technique. But fishermen, they use especially to catch bigger fishes. They try this technique. So we should be very careful how we are using our tongue, what we are eating, what we are tasting with this tongue. We should not get trapped like fish. We should be very, very careful like a tortoise. Then we have a third, ears. Ears. In the forest, if they want to catch deers are very, very fascinated for the sounds, flute sounds. So if they want to catch deers, they play very, very soothing flute notes. Hearing this, deer jumps up and down and comes and falls into the net. So by hearing, we should also be very careful what we are hearing on daily basis. If we keep on hearing bad words, bad lyrics, bad music, then it is very easy. We also get trapped into the same thing. Yes. So we should be very careful. We should not get trapped like a deer. We should be very, very careful like a tortoise. Going ahead, eyes. So have you seen these jugnus? Jugnus, small insects, light insects, they call as light insects. They see fire. When they see something illuminating, something effulgent, they see the big fire flowing. They see the fire and they think like it is so illuminating. They enter into it and they die. This is called jugnus. They die. It's few seconds of, just a few seconds. So we should be very careful what we are seeing with our eyes. It is said in senses, nayanam indriyanam nayanam pradhanam. We should be very careful how we are utilizing our eyes. Then fifth, smell. You see, there are some insects. These insects, they go to try to take the honey. They are trying to taste the honey. Sometimes these even bumblebees, they enter into some plants, flowers. In my biological studies, I did this Neptolian flower, something called like that. So these bumblebees, they go and trying to suck the nectar, and it is very tasty, not for the tongue, for the smell. It is very, very tasty, and they go and get trapped there. And by the night, these flowers they close it. They close these flowers. When the sunset happens, after that, this flower they get closed, and that's how they trapped and they die. So devotees, we should be very, very careful how we are using our senses. How we are using our senses. We should be very, very careful like tortoise. Where to engage, where not to engage. Just like Prabhupada writes in the purport. We should make a plans, do's and don'ts. We should follow those do's and don'ts. And we should take example of tortoise. Be very, very careful. Not get trapped by all this. I repeat again, all these examples, 4 examples which I gave. We should not get trapped like an elephant for the skin pleasure. We should not get trapped like a fish for the tongue pleasure. We should not get trapped by like a deer for the ear pleasure. We should not get trapped by the light insects, light insects for the eyes pleasure. We should not get trapped like that bumblebees, insects, for the smell pleasure. We should be very, very careful, and we should lead a life like a tortoise. Yes. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we will discuss about the 2 statements, which in the beginning I said. Many people are facing this guilty feeling in the life. Guilty, arey galti kar diya, arey galti kar diya. and they never come up back to Krishna consciousness, you know. So tomorrow we'll discuss this very important practical point. 2 points which I said, I will elaborate tomorrow. Thank you very much, devotees. Anybody has any questions, comments? Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So